Welcome to a video on the iPad interface and OS compared with the MacBook OS. We're going to talk about the basics of navigating around the iOS environment, very common throughout the world, and the essence of this operating system is about using apps and having a personal media consumption and creation device handy, able to be taken anywhere that you are. By contrast, the MacOSX environment is a full-featured computing environment. Thousands of applications available to install, completely unfettered, no limits to what you can do with it, and usually operated with a mouse and keyboard. Let's have a look at some of the basics of using both operating systems. One of the first things you probably want to do is search. All you need to do is swipe down and you'll see the search box becomes active and the keyboard opens up and you can just type straight in. Let's take a quick look at the Twitter app. Hit the home button to return to the apps. Searching through the apps, you can also swipe from left to right and you can add apps to the dock by tapping and holding and then dragging into the dock. Hit the home button once and the apps stop jiggling. Opening apps is pretty easy. I'm going to open Pages and I'll create a new document. And you can see that I can just start typing. I'll hit the home key to return back to the main screen. There's also pinch and zoom. So for instance, here's the image. I can zoom by pinching and expanding my fingers. It's also a very personal device oriented around media consumption and media creation. So integral to the iPad are the built-in apps like the camera, taking a photo or a quick video. And sharing, being able to very quickly share the image. Creating text documents. And the obvious ones of making FaceTime calls. And surfing the web. iOS is also oriented around the use of apps. These are accessible via the App Store. There's obviously a huge selection available inside the App Store. Let's have a look in the settings. The general ones and the most useful ones are grouped towards the top. So for instance, connecting to a Wi-Fi network is right at the top. Turning your Bluetooth on and off is right at the top. And in the general section, you'll see all the features around accessibility and spotlight search. You can scroll all the way down to see that all of the apps, whether they're built-in or ones that you've installed later on, have certain kinds of settings which are universal. Now we've moved on from the iPad and we're looking at a MacBook OS X operating system. First, let's have a look at the preferences. Up in the top left-hand corner, click on the Apple logo and go to System Preferences. So this is where you get into make any changes to how your Mac is set up. For instance, can I connect a data projector or a second screen? Adding a printer, making some changes to how you're recording into your Mac or maybe how the sound is coming out of your Mac, and so on. Here you'll also find the system preferences for language and regional settings and also network settings. Resizing windows is easy. You just need to click and drag in the bottom corner, and you can also maximize by clicking on the green button. To minimize into the dock, click on the yellow button, and to move out of the dock, just click once on the small thumbnail of your window. And of course, to close the window altogether, click on the red dot. There's a couple of ways of searching for things on your Mac. You can hit Command F on the keyboard and it will open the Spotlight window, and you can simply search for any phrase which you think will turn something up. So if I wanted to find anything that was a .docx, if I was looking for an Excel document, I could type .xls and I could see that. You can pull this apart, expand it, and you can also narrow it down to things that are on this Mac or to include shared drives that you have mounted. You can also use the Spotlight tool. So I'm looking for someone named James. And there you go, I found him. And another way you can do it is by opening the Finder, and then you can navigate to any of those favorites down on the left hand sidebar. So for instance, I can search in my user folder and look on in my Dropbox, and I can see the files that are in my Dropbox folder. Pictures, music, movies, and downloads are all able to be found in the left hand sidebar as well. Applications are either stored in the dock, or you can get to the applications folder. To find the dock, simply move your mouse to the bottom of the screen and it should pop up. Now scroll left or right. It allows you to clearly see the icon and the name of the apps that are stored there. Simply click on an app and it will open. I'll close that now. Another way to find the applications is to choose Go from the top menu and select Applications, showing you an exhaustive list of every application installed on your Mac. Let's say I'd like to add my Google SketchUp app back into the dock. Very simple. I simply click and drag and then drop it into the dock, and now it's docked there. And finally, I mentioned that when you trash a document, be it a JPEG or an MP3 or a Word document, it'll end up in the trash icon here. You can recover it simply by dragging it out, and you can trash it again simply by dragging it in. You can empty the trash by right clicking and choosing empty trash. And one more thing to note is that if you move a file off a connected drive, such as a USB or a connected hard drive, the file is not actually removed until such time as you empty the trash. Changing the language and region on a Mac is very simple. Choose System Preferences and click on the Language and Region tab, and then simply click the plus button to add the preferred language. In this case I'll choose French. Click Add. Now the system will ask you which language you'd prefer to use as your primary language. If you click Use French and then go to close the window, it will ask you to restart your system. On an iPad it's also very simple. Tap on the settings icon, go to the general section and scroll down to International and choose your language. I'll use French again, and then you can click on Done and it will change the language. It takes a couple of minutes and it will restart your iPad.